Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Grassroots Weekender Show. I'm Mal, your host for this evening. And as they say, excuse me, every other evening. Hope everyone's keeping well out there. Well, last night you saw me in my suit. I've got me the real uniform on this evening. So I hope you've all been managing to do respect, please, out and about, on and off the field of play. Looking after your referee, because without the referee, you're saying it yourself in your head now. So it's getting there. No ref, no game. Yeah, come on. We know what it's like. We know there's managers been doing games themselves because some of the referees have not turned up. Now that is not because of verbal abuse and aggressive behaviour from the touchlines. Plenty of the referees have been away up to other things and they'll vouch for this themselves, and that's the league, North Liverpool JFL. If they can't fill them because the spaces are full, and sometimes we are going to be inundated, especially now coming up towards Christmas. You can tell that the referees are all there wanting their pennies. They need the presents in, so they're doing anything and everything they can to get the money in. So it's going to be full. Yes, it is. And there's one or two more referees that I'll be giving a name in to the North Liverpool with Connor and Bob, who look after young referees unbelievably. Honestly, it's, how would I put it? It's like a classroom for young referees. I think it's brilliant. I really, really do. They're up and coming referees, and they're all there, the youngsters as well, mixing in with the experienced referees, making sure that they're getting their pocket money in. New referees coming from the Liverpool County FA, and they are really looked after. Honestly, it's nice to know, nice to see, and nice to hear. And especially when you, the managers, you, the parents, are all out there, and you, the children, yes, on the field of play, are respecting our referees while they're out being fair to yourselves. Come on, we've got to say that, because yes, even the referees will admit, that they do make mistakes. We all make mistakes. You can't knock someone for making a mistake. We do it day in, day out, week in, week out, and unfortunately we're not being told from the sidelines that you're making a mistake. And these sideline referees are taking over everything about it. Excuse me, got my little cupboard anyway to get the frog out the throat. Yeah, so you can't take over what the referees are trying to learn. Now there's one or two shy referees that you do see, and you can tell when they first come in. So that is down to all the coaches and the parents to respect that referee. You can't turn around and start blaming them for making a mistake. They are bags of nerves, honestly. When they go out there, they need to get their courage up, shall we say, and they need to get everything behind them and put that first game out the way, because it must be nerve-wracking to go and do your first game, because in their mind they're thinking, oh, but I don't make too many mistakes, I bet you, or any mistakes. Now you can't say that you're perfect. You're the perfect referee when you go in as a youngster. You can't. I've had so much experience of watching them, talking to them, and seeing when they've come in there, the nerves, and you can tell a referee who is going to be that perfect referee when you go on. I'm not saying they're not going to make mistakes. What I'm talking about is the attitudes, the confidence, the way they blow the whistle, the way they talk to the kids, the way they respect each other on there, and they're getting shouted at, and obviously that is the best thing to do, is go on deaf ears when you're getting shouted to or at by an irate parent or spectator. And I always tell the young referees, please don't answer back. Some of these irate parents or irate managers and irate spectators, they want conflict, they want you to have a go at them, so they've got an excuse to say, that referee started shouting and screaming at me, what do you expect me to do? And in their heads it doesn't say that these are just kids on a football field. It doesn't tell them that they're still at school. It doesn't tell them they're wearing a yellow armband to state that they're under 18 years of age. Now I remember one referee telling me, and she, female, she was only 16 at the time, and she said to me, I said, where's your referee, your armband? She shrugged her shoulders and she looked at me and she went, no one takes any notice to it anyway. It's still an awareness, it's still in its early days. We still need the young referees to wear them, to give a message out to people, to remind It's a deterrent, that's all it is. But I could understand where she was coming from, because she was still getting shouted at, and what's the point of putting it on? Now she did put it back on, don't get me wrong, in later days, but I could understand what she was trying to say to me, that, you know, no matter what I do, people are still shouting anyway. So whether I've got a yellow armband on there, whether I haven't, it doesn't make a difference. But I believe it does, because as I say, it acts as a deterrent, and she probably did in the end, because certain games she wore it, and those certain games I see referees putting it on, not all the time, because they take it off sometimes when they know that they're not going to have anything going at them whatsoever, and they put it on because they're probably a little bit worried about the teams that they're taking over, because they've heard it before, and it's just another deterrent, another reminder. So that makes you think as well. But we just need everyone to just go out there and enjoy the game of football. Everyone knows it's hard times, and what we were talking about not so long ago, there's a lot more pressure. This is no excuse, by the way, for anyone who thinks they can go out there and verbally abuse a referee, or another parent, or a committee member, or anyone on a football field. It's not an excuse, but we do know that stress is becoming a lot more common, and especially in grassroots football. Now the parents are going out there, and I know about the problems that's going on within society. We know about the rate rise, we know about you name it, everything is going up, and your pocket money is going down. So what you've got in there, you ain't got no more. You have to really budget every penny that you've got. People are understanding this, and people are all worrying about the Christmas. Now I was in town during the week, and you saw me in my suit as well, and I was taken aback. There was a lot of money being spent, you can see, and the queues outside the fancy dress stores is just unreal. Never seen anything like it. Must be brilliant. That's pocket money to them. That's great for business. It really is, to see people wanting to buy and wanting to spend and wanting to go and enjoy themselves. It's one of those days of the year, but it's not the kids. These were adults, not the kids. So it makes you wonder, obviously, people are just going mad on anything and anything, and obviously the Halloween parties are going to be something special this year. It's like as if everyone said, you know what, it's an excuse for the party, let's get out there and do what we can. Now I'm hoping when these Halloween parties do come about, obviously the nightclubs, everything, will be having them, that people respect the way that people are dressed and what have you, and they don't use that as something misguided, basically to cause any sort of crime whatsoever, because they can't be identified. This is what we don't want. And the majority of them did look like students, but as I say, these queues were around the corner, they were for miles, and they were all for the adults. And I felt sorry for the kids who want to go in there and just buy a little mask or something. You can't go in, they have to go to Home Bargain, they have to go to one of the supermarkets and get the pumpkin or something like that, not to these big fancy dress stores to buy something up and they've got, you know, for the masks. But anyway, good luck to everyone. But what I'm saying is, people out spending, they're really, really going to town. And everywhere was full, everyone was packed. You can see people doing their Christmas shopping. And it's what comes after Christmas that you have to worry about. I'm talking about the stress and the pocket money, and people are just going in there because they don't want to let the kids down. They want to buy as much as they can and have Christmas because it makes a big, big thing. And I'm just hoping that we go back to the stress and the way the families are when it comes to grassroots football. It seems to be more, for some reason this year. I've never seen, and I've witnessed it, and I've always spoke, well, I'm not seeing it. And I look at social media and I see and I hear, and I'm thinking, it's not an excuse, but are we looking at people who really are suffering with the mental health issues, the stress, and they want to release that anger? This is what's happening within grassroots football? Because I've seen a little bit more than what I normally see for this time of year, and I think we're only 7 weeks into the season. It hasn't made sense. And normally you start seeing it towards the cup games, towards the end of the season, grudge matches as we all call them, and unfortunately that's what you have to call them, because some people, some parents remember other teams and they want to kick off and they want to have a little argument and they become irate. But even talking to the committees, it seems to have steamrolled, and we need to obviously try and get a grip of it, but we have to see what is the problem behind it, and I think that is the problem behind it. And I did say on local radio the other week, and I think they did use it, that it's not an excuse, definitely isn't an excuse to go out there and start behaving horrendously. It's not an excuse to start verbally abusing a referee or showing aggressive behaviour to anyone around about grassroots football or wherever you are. It really isn't. People tend to be arguing more and more, and they're just losing it. And I'm just wondering, if that's the case, are we going to see a lot more of this? Now, I think what we need to do is, we don't want irate parents, we don't want irate spectators or managers or coaches within grassroots football. We just want to try and get people to be calm and just let the kids play football, because if you're showing anger as an adult, as a parent, then it's going to rub off on the kids. They don't understand what's going on within society. They just think money grows on trees. They do. We all know that. Kids are like that. They've been like that forevermore. I was like that as well, but I wasn't. I was one of probably the unfortunate ones who, you know, or lucky ones you could say, because the brands weren't, you know, I was as kids. There's brands everywhere now. People are competing, parents are competing, and have to go out and buy this to satisfy their child because next door neighbours, their kids have got them. We've got to be the same as them. We can't let them see it, and putting a stigma on them, saying, look, we're poor. It's just one of those. It's fighty, isn't it? And you can understand where the pressure's coming from. The pressure about the amount of rises, people sending their cars back, people struggling in their homes to pay rent. We just need everyone to try and put all this behind them. And I just wish there was a magic wand I had that I could just wave it over everyone and make their lives that bit better and society a lot better. It's not going to be, it's not a real world. It's unfortunately going to get worse, I can see, in my opinion. I'm not talking about grassroots football, I'm talking about society, but I'm seeing it gradually getting worse. But again, I'll emphasise, it is not an excuse to go out there, start shouting and screaming. We have to look at the kids. The kids, as I say, do not understand any situation whatsoever. They might see mum and dad disagreeing and, you know, we can't afford this, and they can't understand why, because they're not getting as much wages or they haven't got a job. And they look at the likes of Christmas, they look at the likes of Halloween, and they need to party and they want to make the kids happy. And is the stress coming on to the grassroots side of things where it's not making them happy, and it's in their head, and the mental health issues are coming out of them, and they're thinking, how can I afford it this year? How can I make my kids happy? And the anger's showing to whoever, and this is what I think we're coming across and we're coming by. Now, if you look on the FA website, my honest opinion, now, I'm not getting controversial, just going to have a sip of tea. But I do believe, we all know that parents, managers have to go through a lot when they're enrolling to put a team in there. It's course after course. It's also, if you want to be a coach, you're doing level 1, level 2, you're putting a lot of money into it. It's your own money, it's your own effort, it's your own time, and you're really making a difference within grassroots football. You're not respected for that. The majority of parents don't respect and don't understand what is going on and how you're getting there in the first place. They just think they're bringing their child to a game of football, and that's it. Hey ho, no committee, no one putting in fixtures, no one sorting out the referees, no one. It's just a game of football to them, and they've got a pitch and they just pay it, or they pay the subs, and that's the be all and end all of grassroots football. They don't understand the work rate behind it and what you have to do to make sure that that one child is just in a football team and having a go at enjoyment and enjoying it with his friends and enjoying football and scoring goals or saving goals, whichever it may be in grassroots football. But you need to put it into perspective and put all this together. And as we say there, irate parents, people having a go, we need to put a stop to it if we possibly can, but it's going to be hard. Now, if you find out that there's a parent who's been irate and you've had to suspend, I think that was my phone. Yes, that was my phone ringing, and it didn't have an app. That was big bang money. Hope that's all right. Being irate. Now, I think, this is what I think. We all have to do our DBS checks, and I have to do 1 million, to be honest. If I'm going as a support worker, it's just unreal what we have to do. Now, DBS checks, the majority of you have them in work, and I think one for all. Now, I didn't realise that you could continue paying £13 per year, and companies update that and just double check it. They can check day in, day out what you've been up to, anything changed on your DBS. Great idea, I suppose, which I'll be taking on. I've done my safeguarding courses. I've done everything, I'm up to date with everything. And then you wouldn't think so in support work, because there's 1 million courses that you have to do day in, day out, week in, week out, honestly. But my suggestion is, if you have an irate spectator, coach, manager, whatever it may be, parent, and it's proven, and they've been suspended by the club, by the FA, county FA, I think then, before they are allowed back, and I'd love your opinions whether one of these parents has been suspended, one of these parents who may get suspended in the future, or a manager or coach or anyone who's been involved in a situation like this. And that part of that suspension, I think, on the comeback trail, if you're allowed back, should be that you take a safeguarding course online, and it's free with the FA. Parents, spectators, you can do it. It's on there. And also, I think, to be allowed back, you should take that and the proof's there with the FA, and they say, great, they're taking that step to do it. But also a DBS check. What is the problem with doing a DBS check? If you want to change your ways, and it's proof that you will not do that again within grassroots football, because it's the kids who suffer, referees who suffer, other parents who suffer, everyone involved in grassroots football suffers. You just go out and watch a game of football, win, lose or draw, end of, go home. That's the way it should be, and show loads of encouragement. But let me know your thoughts, what you think with the punishment. If they're suspended, obviously they'll get a fine, or the club will get that fine. It's not the parents who get the fine, so I think other parents should be subject to that as well. And they should say, well, why are we all paying that fine? If Joe Bloggs has just been the guilty person, why is it the club that have to pay? It's, you know, because the club cannot guarantee what these parents are going to do, whether they're going to be really, really safe. Everyone thinks when you join a football team, like you coaches, your managers, you know, and the fines come galore. Your responsibility is to make sure that the parents are who they say they are, what they do. So why can't we have these checks to support ourselves? Because I don't think it's fair that one person would become irate, get suspended, the club get the fine, and other parents have to pay the fines. So why can't we have these checks to safeguard the coaches, the managers, and the other parents and the teams themselves? So if they do this safeguarding course, which is free, online, you can do it anytime. If you get one, just show us the certificate, that's brilliant. It'd be fantastic. It's good practice, and I think it's brilliant practice for the likes of your coaches, your managers, and I think this should be done. I think we should all do it. Well, if you haven't got it anyway, but you know, what's the problem about a parent going out to get a DBS check and saying, look, I've got my safeguarding certificate, DBS check, I'm going to change, I'm going to be the best person on that field of play, on the sidelines, supporting the kids playing football and also supporting the referees. I think it would be a deterrent. I think it would work. My honest opinion. I'm not subjecting anyone to do it. I'm just saying, because all the managers and the coaches have to do these checks all the time, I think it's only fair and it's only right, if we're in charge of your child, duty of care, that you should be responsible for yourselves and your behaviour. And I think the FA should say, right, DBS, they've done it. Because if the DBS, as us, managers, coaches, if your DBS comes back and they don't like there's something on there, you can be stopped from managing or coaching a team. Why can't it happen where if it's a parent or a spectator, exactly the same, something comes up there, well, you're not allowed to go and support these kids as well. I think it's only fair. I think that is the way to iron out a problem, and that is the way to make sure the kids are safe and everyone's safe within grassroots football. It's just my thoughts, my opinion. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. We're only trying to make grassroots football safer for the kids, safer for the referees, and safer for the coaches and the committees as well. They only want to go out, I only want to go out and enjoy football, watching it and applauding the kids. I think that's all we need to do, that's all we have to do. And it could be extended to grown-up, adult football as well. I don't know. Your thoughts, please, Mal at don'ttexttheline.com. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social network sites. Please, I'm looking forward to hearing your comments, seeing your comments. Keep them clean. I'm not there to try and stop grassroots football or parents coming out, you know, being barred, being banned, unless it's safeguarding incidents. I think we all agree. We don't need these at grassroots football. It's kids football. We've got to remember that as and when we attend football games week in, week out. So on that note, I hope everyone today and the North Liverpool JFL League, all the spectators are being shown loads and loads of respect. I know they will. And also the Walton Curtail. Let's keep it clean, let's keep it supportive, and let's encourage the kids to play football and develop their skills, as well as the referees doing exactly the same, letting them develop their skills, because they want to move on and we all want to be there supportive as ever. So we're now out and about at grassroots football, especially tomorrow as well. Please show loads of respect, support your referee, no ref, no game, and support each other on and off the field of play, and encourage the kids, please. And that is then the end of, we can all go home with a smile on our faces. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining into the show, and we'll be back again, as I say, tomorrow at 7. For myself, Mal Lane, all the team here at the Grassroots Show, Don't Cross the Line, Respect Programme, and also our Hearts of Gold initiatives. We'll see you tomorrow at 7. Have a great evening. Good night, God bless.